Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Grace. This is going to be the start of a spoiler reading vlog. Today is Monday, April 21st, so that's where we're at. So the book that I'm going to be reading first is The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose. This was her first commercially successful book, and it did not grab me when it came out. I bought this a few months ago because I really liked her other book, Home is Where the Bodies Are. So that made me like open to just reading anything she writes because I enjoyed it that much. And I also noticed like after the fact that I was following her on Instagram, like she's just a funny person. And I saw that she was an author. So I had followed her, not making the connection. So let me explain why I was not interested in this book when it first came out. What this book is about is you have your main character, Sarah. I forget that Sarah Morgan, and she is married to Adam Morgan. She is a very successful, the most successful defense lawyer in DC, and he is a writer. So what the summary tells you is that Adam has secretly been having an affair for 2 years, and when she is found dead with like another mistress, his only hope is for his wife to defend him and figure out, just like find him innocent, right? So I can see why that would be interesting to a lot of people, but for me, like if I was in that situation, like the best you'll get out of me is like a good luck. Like I don't see why she should care that much if he's found innocent or not, you know? That was the whole reason why this didn't grab me in the beginning, but I do know that I like her writing, so that is why I am giving this a shot. Um and I really want the matching sequel. The sequel is called The Perfect Divorce. It came out like 6 days ago, so I want to pick that up if I find myself by a Barnes and Noble. I just feel like I'm going to enjoy it because I like her writing. So yeah, I want them to match because this is the collector's edition and I want the other collector's edition. So where I've read so far, I've only read like a few chapters. Let me see. So I am on page 26. I have my Golden Girls bookmark. So where I'm at so far is I can see where the marriage is struggling a little bit because Sarah is so focused on her job, but she also makes all the money. She affords them the lifestyle that they have. But Adam feels neglected because she's always canceling on him. They do have a lake house, and that's kind of where he met his affair partner, somewhere in town. I still haven't gotten the details. But they're always making plans to go to the lake house. Sarah bought it, of course, because Adam is broke. So she pays for their house in DC and she pays for this lake house. But every weekend they make plans to go to the lake house and Sarah always cancels because she has a case, she has this or that, whatever. So Adam typically just goes up by himself, but he does say like, "Oh, well, I'm able to write there. Like since we got the lake house, I have actually like unblocked my writer's block, yada yada." So, you know, what I've gathered so far is that both of these people are super hot because Sarah says things like, "Oh, like he's still like 10 years later, I still feel butterflies when I see him." And Adam's complaining about Sarah, and he's like, "She may ignore me, but she doesn't ignore her body. She's still hot." So these are two very hot people. Their marriage is, I think it's like their 10th wedding anniversary that's just come up. And they both seem like they're happy. And Sarah mentions that she's finally ready to try for a baby, and that's where I'm at so far. So I have like an hour and a half left of work. I just finally decided to take a break. I always like push off my breaks because I'm like, oh, as long as I get this far done, I'll take my break. But then an email will roll through and I'll get distracted. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Once I get off, I am going to take my daughter to urgent care because she may have sprained her wrist. Between you and me, I feel like I made a mistake taking her to the Kaiser in Baldwin Park because they have a Starbucks on site. And I think that's why she's like, yeah, let's just go to urgent care. Let's just go to urgent care. Like it's not going to be a whole afternoon of nothing. But yeah, I just wanted to start. So here we are. All right, we are back from urgent care. I am up to page 71. This is just like a very easy book to get into. Her writing's just very like clean, a little cheesy, but I feel like because I read her other book and her writing isn't cheesy, I think these characters are cheesy. Just like, for example, after Adam gets caught, like, so where I left off, I explained that things weren't going that great in Sarah and Adam's marriage. They love each other, they find each other super hot still, but Sarah's just engrossed in her career and Adam doesn't have one, resentment, yada yada. And on this night, like it was their 10th anniversary, Sarah doesn't show up, but he continues having his affair that he's been having for like a year and a half, I think it is. And Sarah doesn't know. He has, he has rough sex. He explains it. And then he goes home to his wife and he has sex again because she says she wants to have a baby. And he's like, yes, finally, thank you. So he just doesn't miss a beat, goes ahead and tries that. The very next day, the police show up at their house, like their actual house, not the lake house. And it's like typical like police bullshit where they're not telling him what they're there for. And he's like, what's going on? Everybody acts as stupid as you can act. Like the police won't tell them what they're there for. And Adam immediately goes to like a 10. So the whole thing escalates. Ridiculous. They take him in. He's worried that something happened to Sarah, but like it should have, he asks like, is Sarah okay? And they don't answer him. So he gets irate, whatever, right? Sarah goes down and she finds out he's been having an affair and he's on trial. But the thing that I'm telling you, like they're both a little cheesy. Like Adam's having this day where he's being accused of murder. His whole life is flashing before his eyes. He's like, just as I was about to have everything I ever wanted, like this happens, this crazy. And then he looks at Sarah and he's like, man, my wife is still really hot. And and Sarah, when she's like talking to the police have not been good to Adam. Later on, we find out that his affair partner, Kelly, her husband is a cop. So they're all very close. And, he's like in turmoil. He's throwing chairs at the two-way mirror, yada, yada. And then he looks at Sarah and he's like, she's still really hot. And Adam, because it is dual POV, you have Sarah's POV and Adam's POV. Sarah, it's okay. She's a little corny, but whatever. But Adam is just like super corny. I feel like this whole thing this situation where he had the affair, but his wife is going to defend him is just going to get on my nerves till the end. Because it's like, okay, if you want to have an affair, but you don't get to cry afterwards when you get caught. You know what I mean? And this just keeps happening where he's just like, are you mad at me? Let me know it's okay. And she's like, I'm here as your lawyer, not as your wife. And he gets all distraught about it. And so it's just like, it is definitely a conflict of interest. But like I said, she's the best attorney in the world. So she's his only chance. Is it corny? Yes. Do I want to keep reading it? Also, yes. So yeah, so I'm at page 71. I'm going to keep reading. It is like what? It's 6:35. So like I read a lot while I was at urgent care because we checked in and then we had to go do an x-ray and then we had to go back. So she has a little splint. They want her to follow up with orthopedics just to make sure it's not. I thought the day she told me, like, because she could move it, I was like, okay, it's not broken. It's fractured. Like, what are they going to do? Apparently, like, I should have taken her immediately. The doctor was like, just specifically where she says it hurts, it could be a hairline fracture. So, yeah. So that is my day. Iggy does not want to swim. And I'm trying not to push him. I mean, I'm going to start pushing him. But I do try to listen to him. Like, maybe he has something that's bothering him and he can't tell me. So this is the last day he's going to chill. Tomorrow he has PT. Tomorrow he has personal training, and then I'll take him swimming, and then it's game on because he did gain weight. He is a chubby boy. He is a chubby boy because he's in the chair and he's not able to move. But him being like on complete restriction, like his shorts are a little tight, and we gotta do something. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna continue reading, and then I'll check back later. Actually, let me give you my first suspicion of who I think the killer is. I think the killer is Sarah's gay best friend, Matthew. He comes across, he's a little stereotypical for me. Like, I just hate it when gay characters are so like one dimensional. Like they're just, everything's fabulous. They hate kids. Yeah. It just kind of irritates me, but maybe there's more to be said later. But he is very defensive of Sarah. He loves Sarah. And when Sarah first finds out about this whole situation and she goes running to the sheriff's office, Matthew follows her and he like throws doors open to find her. And she says something like, let me actually find it. All right. So once Matthew finds Sarah at the police station, he says, what did they do to you? Because there was like an incident where we found out that Kelly's husband is a cop, so he has access to the sheriff's station. So he runs in and beats up Adam, and Sarah gets hurt in the process. So he says, what did they do to you? And he's like, she's a lawyer. She'll sue you. I know people so powerful they'll bring this whole town to its knees. He constricts his eyes and then returns his attention to me, his face softening as he looks over me. I'm fine. I'll fill you in. I give him a reassuring look. Matthew has always been protective of me. So hear me out. What if Matthew knew Adam was having an affair and he decided to, like, fix him up? That's my theory so far. We'll see. So I already mentioned Kelly was married to a cop. We get a flashback from 2 weeks prior where Kelly shows up to Adam's lake house and she is black and blue, bleeding, hair in a mess. And she basically insinuates that her husband beats her, but that she can't get away. She does not tell Adam that he's a cop. She just says, I can't go to the police. And then she tells him that she's actually kind of like in a witness protection thing. Her real name is not Kelly Summers, it is Jeneva. And she was accused of killing her husband years ago. And somehow Scott helped her get out of it. And she says that she's innocent, she didn't do it, but she knows that she is indebted to Scott at this point. So she can't leave the marriage. She says the only way I'll get away from him is if one of us is dead. So yeah, and then we have our girl Sarah is kind of having a flirtation with the sheriff. At first, when she went to the station, he only knew her as Adam's wife, but then he was kind of like short with her, a little bit rude. And then she says that once she says she's a lawyer, whatever goes down, she goes sees Adam. But when she sees the sheriff again, she says his eyes are full of admiration. And like, that's what I mean. It's like a little cheesy. Like, both Adam and Sarah get a lot from looking at people. Like, when Adam first ran into Kelly at the cafe, he was like, I know that she saw the pain in my eyes and I saw the pain in her eyes. Like, they are both just like living in their own little fantasy worlds where they're the main character, it seems. But like I said, I'm still enjoying this book. I still want to finish it. So it's not like a bad thing. I just know it's cheesy, but I'm liking it. Everybody in this book is like hot and horny. That is what I have gathered so far. So the main sheriff on the case, his name is Sheriff Ryan. He's a little too flirty with our girl Sarah. Even another cop is like, whoa, is there another affair going on around here? And just like dumb shit like that. It's like Melrose Place, okay? But the plot has thickened. So Sarah had bought Adam this like really nice desk for the lake house to encourage his shitty writing career. And she knows there's a secret compartment. So she opens it and the sheriff was like, whoa, because they hadn't looked at that. And in that compartment, there is a gun, which Sarah knew that Adam had as protection. But there was also a manila envelope. In this envelope is a picture of Kelly and Adam, and they're both naked. They were probably doing the deed outside because it looks like this picture was taken without their knowledge. And on the back of the picture, it says, end it or I will. Oh, and I forgot to say, Adam's like such a piece of shit. Like, I've been saying that, but look, like the night of the affair, he leaves he writes a note for both women. So the note that he writes to Kelly is, Kelly, it's you. It hasn't always been you, and it will always be you. But it will always be you. You are the words to a story I've been trying to write my whole life, and tonight I determined the ending. Love you, love me, Adam. P.S. The maid will be here at 9. Please make sure you're gone before then. So that's what he writes to Adam. But that same night, he sends flowers to Sarah. And it says, Sarah, it's always been you. Love Adam. No wonder he's a shitty writer. Like, he has no imagination. Oh, and another thing we have found out is that Kelly was pregnant. She was 8 weeks pregnant and Adam was the father. We don't know yet if Adam knew this. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm on page 95. A book like this, like, you can just finish it in a day and a half because it just like, sucks you in. But all right, it is now the next day. It is Tuesday. I have gotten to page 190. I'm taking my first break at work. Today is another work at home day. So 2 things have triggered me. 1, my hair in the previous clips, it was bad. I was also like rolling around in bed reading. So like there was that going on. But 2, Adam Morgan is just like pissing me off. He was already like on my shit list as I read the summary because he is a man that cheated on his wife and is expecting her to defend him. Like, whatever was going on there. I mean, there's sometimes like marriage is dead, right? Like I would be able to be neutral about the situation if that was the case, but they had a marriage that it was like it just wasn't going to work. One, because like yes, she is dedicated to her job, but at the same time, he was not making any money. So what was she supposed to do? She's good at her job. She's going to focus on the job so that they are both supported. But he turned that and he was like cheating on her at this lake house this whole time. So it's just like he's already on my shit list, right? And as I'm reading more, he's pissing me off more because he's getting jealous when Sarah isn't like 100% focused on his case, which she is. But he's like, oh, like she and the sheriff seem to have like something weird going on. You cheated on her. Move on. And then his mother is the absolute worst. She's like almost a caricature of a mother-in-law. Like she's just like, and I've read Geneva Rose's other book, so I know it's not her writing style. Like there was this other author, I can't think of her name. I read a few of her books, but it's like all the characters sounded the same. So it was like at that point, that's her writing style, right? In this book, it's so different that I'm just like, there's something weird here. Like all the characters are kind of caricatures. They're a little weird, but I feel like there's a point to it, but I haven't figured it out. But yeah, his mother is just like, she hates Sarah. She's just like, yeah, I know you had a shitty life because your mother was a drug addict and your dad this and that, but you need to get over it. You need to defend my son. My son is innocent. Why would somebody this handsome would not, like all the stupid things that a mother would say about her son being accused of murder, like she is saying them all. Sarah is known to be the top defense lawyer. It has been said throughout the book. The mother still tries to find her son, Adam, another lawyer. She's like, I thought lawyers were all money hungry, but they're all telling me that Sarah's his best chance. So I guess whatever. But she's just stupid. Like everything that she says about Sarah is just stupid. Like she's telling her, like, it's your fault he cheated. If you were attentive, he would not have cheated. Just like pissing me off, you know? The case is going like every which way because it turns out I mentioned Jenna was like in a witness protection, like not a witness protection, but she had a situation back home where her first husband ended up murdered and she was the prime suspect, but evidence went missing. Like her now current husband actually like is rumored to have tampered with it so that the case went nowhere. And then they moved to this other like across cities or across states to end up at this like Virginia town. So there is that, and there was 3 sets of DNA in this girl, Kelly. So her husband, Adam, and she was also pregnant by Adam, and there was a 3rd set of DNA that nobody knows where it came from. So it could have been somebody did break into the house and did this, but of course, like we wouldn't have a whole book if it was just a random crime, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with this book. I'm going to go back to work for a little bit more and then take my lunch. I have to do some things on my lunch and then I'll be back. This afternoon, I'm taking Iggy to his training and then hopefully swimming. So yeah, so I feel like I'm going to finish it tonight though, because I made a lot of progress last night and it's just like, it sucks me in. So I think I'll finish this tonight, but we will see. Also, I just did like, I feel like this camera that I have right now is super popular. It's the DJI Pocket 3. I got it like when it first came out last year. But one of the things that was kind of tricky about it, because I live in a super dark house, is it's hard to attach a light to it, right? But I found a solution. So I got like this magnetic thing. Let me flip this around. No, that doesn't kind of, hold on. Let me maneuver you over here. So it's like a magnetic thing that clips onto it, but then you can attach like a light to the back of it. So I think that's kind of cool. But just thought I'd add that in there. If you have this camera, it is a solution. All right, my last break of the day. I am dying to get back to The Perfect Marriage. I didn't get to read it on my lunch because I had to just like run errands. I just keep thinking of all the things Adam has done to piss me off. So obviously he cheated on his wife. Whatever. Like that doesn't piss me off as much as his reliance on her when she is the breadwinner. He has been mooching off her. The only reason why he was able to pull off this affair is because his wife was providing him the lifestyle that he didn't have to work. He didn't have to write a book. Even though that's like what he was supposed to do. So he's mad that he gets mad at his wife for all these stupid things. For one, they almost hooked up again because like tensions were running high, like they're both scared that he's gonna end up in prison, yada yada. But then they start making out, and then she pulls away, and he's just like, I cannot believe, like, I thought we were like headed towards reconciliation. Like, what is she thinking? What is she? Is it somebody else? Shut up, Adam. Two, he's upset with his mistress because um I mean, she's dead, but she had three sets of DNA in her. So he was just like, what if she was cheating on me? I know she has a husband, but what if, was I not enough? Was like everything I thought about our relationship not true because I thought she completed me? Yada, 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 back and forth. And then our main character, Sarah, she asks him about the notes that he wrote to each of them. So I guess he had written the first note to the mistress, the one that says like, you weren't always the one, but you're now the whatever the hell he wrote. He was planning on leaving Sarah and starting over with her because she was willing to like give him that kind of lifestyle where she pretends he's like the big man. And once he went home and Sarah's like, oh, yeah, I do want a baby. I do want more to this life than just working. That's when he was like, okay, like forget what's her face. Like I'll stay married here. And now he's just like, oh, now I have like nothing. Like, so he's so upset. And he was in jail for a little bit. And so once he gets bailed out, he's like at the house. He's in under house arrest, and he orders himself the best mattress money can buy, 10 grand. And of course, like our main character is having him monitored now because he keeps messing stuff up. He answers things he shouldn't answer. He is just like getting himself into, like, she's trying to defend him and he's making it very hard. He forgets to tell her things, and then she's like, you're on trial for murder. Like, you need to help me. Like, this changes things. And some reporter walks in, and I hate pushy reporters. Like this book is just triggering me. So he tries to close the door and she puts her foot in the doorway, and she's like, "Oh, I took your class like whenever the hell, like a year or so ago, when he was like, he kind of realized he's failing as an author, so he was going to do this like professor thing." So he's like, okay, well, I kind of know you. So he tells her everything that he knows about the case so far because he wants help. He feels like, oh, maybe my wife is a terrible wife and she's actually mad at me because I cheated on her and she's not really going to defend me as well as she could. So let me enlist this like 20-year-old reporter. Like, she'll get the job done. So he is spilling all the case secrets to her, and he gives her, I think the total is supposed to be 10 grand, and he gives her half of it up front so she can start doing some investigative work because he thinks like maybe there's a shot, maybe the old family, like the family of her first husband that she was accused of murder, maybe they're coming back and for revenge. So maybe that's my out. So he gives her money to investigate that. Doesn't tell his wife. So Sarah is having him monitored by her assistant, and then he has the nerve to be annoyed about this. He's just like, I cannot believe, like, not only did you cheat on her, but you are constantly messing up her case for you. Like, you're not telling her everything, yada yada. Of course, you're monitored. And then when she blows up, oh, his whole thing with the mattress was he was just like, yeah, I needed, because the old mattress, the mistress was murdered in, so it was all covered in blood. They had to throw it out. So, he's like, I may go away for murder, but at least my time at home, I'll be on the best mattress money can buy. It's not your money, Adam. So when Sarah calls him out for this, he says something like, it's for my advance, because since he's been such a shitty writer, his agent has been on him to write something better, and he can't. So he's just like, hey, why don't you write like a true crime kind of thing? And at first he's trying to frame it as like kind of like an OJ Simpson thing, like if I did murder her. But he's just like, I didn't murder her, and I don't want to go away like by admitting something I didn't do or insinuating something that could hurt my case. And then finally they agree like on a true crime kind of thing, but he's already spending the money before he gets it. Not paying his wife back, not trying to help out with the bills, but being a loser. So yeah, I cannot wait to go back to this book, but it'll be a few more hours still. I have been looking at like spoiler videos or just videos on her other book, the one that I read, Home is Where the Body Is. I found like this really, really funny review, and he looks like he's a new channel. I'll link it below, but like he was cracking me up. I like that. And it was like full spoiler, but he's just funny. Hopefully I'll remember to link it below. But yeah, I've had a bad hair day for like 2 days in a row now. It's really working my nerves. And tomorrow is an in-office day, so I'm going to have to redo this whole thing. Anyways, it is 6:54 right now. It's an old picture, but it's really cute. But Anyways, so I took Iggy to PT. I ran my errands. He swam for a while. We got dinner. He's showered. So I have a good hour to just read and get into this book. I did read a little bit while Iggy was swimming, and then while I was eating dinner. So Sarah has this nemesis in the office. She just calls him Bob. And while he's and he's kind of useless. Like every interaction that I've seen him in, he's just an antagonist. He's just like a piece of shit in the office. But he answers the phone, Bob Miller, right? Like in the last interaction that I saw. Hey, Toonie. Hi, baby. You're silly. And so he answers Bob Miller, whatever, right? Then we go to Adam's POV, and he's at the lake house being a piece of shit, just questioning everybody, being an idiot, like just like being an idiot. Like I cannot believe how stupid this man is. So I've told you he's stuck at the lake house. He's under house arrest. He enlisted this like 20-year-old reporter to paid her a bunch of money to like be an investigator because he doesn't think his top attorney wife can do this on her own. And so she got him a bunch of numbers, and she's like, hey, why don't you call these numbers while I, visit people and see if I can find this connection to her past. Maybe it is somebody in her past that came back and took revenge. But it's just like, even that's just so stupid. Like his idea is that somebody connected to Kelly's first husband came back for revenge, right? So he's calling people that are related to her first husband. Like, why would they help him? But that is where he's spending all his time and energy, and so is this girl. And he has this huge box of possible, I forgot what it's called, like suspects or ideas, clues, whatever, that Sarah, his wife, brought him. And he's finally going through them. And one of the people that is mentioned like as a possible like connection is Nicholas Robert Miller. We just like the chapter right before like Bob answers the phone as Robert Miller. So like, yeah. And what's his face? Adam is just like, I've seen this man before, but he can't put his finger on it. But us, the reader, like we see what's up. And then that threatening note that he had once gotten, like 2 weeks prior to the murder, he realizes the handwriting matches on like something in the clue. So I don't know if it was Sarah, her assistant, or somebody, but the handwriting matches the threatening note that he received 2-3 weeks before the murder took place. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So it's cheesy, it's corny. I know it's going to be like bananas crazy, but like I am enjoying it. I like it. And I did look up Jeneva Rose's Instagram like earlier in the day, and she is funny. She is like a fun person. So I am enjoying her work, and I can't wait to pick up her second book. I think maybe I'll finish this tonight, and then I could pick up The Perfect Divorce tomorrow because it is an in-office day, and pass a Barnes & Noble on my way home. I have to kind of go out of my way, but whatever. Like it does cross paths. So might pick that up tomorrow. And yeah, literally as soon as I was like, oh, I have like an hour straight to read, Iggy needed me like 3 times. But I have made a little bit more progress. It is heating up. In the last clip, I said that Adam figured out that Anne is the one whose handwriting was in the threatening picture and note, because he put together like Anne put together the evidence and Sarah dropped it off. So he finally made the connection. So like a fucking idiot, he takes off for the office, ankle monitor, be damned. He just races. Oh, and he steals that reporter's car, that little 20-year-old reporter. First of all, when she showed up, he tries to hug her. Like, he's just such a creep. So she pushes him off and she's like, what's gone into you? And because she is not solving his case, he thinks about killing her. He's just like, I hate being in his head. He's just so stupid. I hate him. Like, he's just one of those men that makes you hate men. And you have to remind yourself they're not all this stupid. But after this, like, he takes off in her car and she's like, wait, come back. That's my car. But he drives an hour away to DC to Sarah's office, where she is having a meeting with the prosecutor for his case. And she's trying to be like, look, there's a lot of loose ends. This is not the open and shut case you think it is. But then here comes Adam flying in like a maniac, accusing Anne. But then in that moment, he realizes, it takes him a while. He is very slow. But then he realizes that Bob in the office is the same man in the picture that is like, oh, this is Kelly's husband's brother. A mess. And like all the sheriffs are there. And as soon as Kelly's husband, who's a cop, he hears this, he starts beating up Bob. It's just like every man in this book is the worst. But yeah, I let me see. I am on page 221. I have this little, this is like my favorite book light I've ever had. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading. For sure it's gonna bother me that I had bad hair this video. But anyways, I have finished The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose. I really enjoyed it. I quickly looked at like some reviews. A lot of people did not like the ending, or they had very deep personal issues with it. To me, this is what this book is supposed to be. Like, it's not supposed to be obvious. It's supposed to be a little bit off the rails, a little unbelievable. So I got what I wanted out of it. You know what I mean? For sure, I'm gonna buy The Perfect Divorce after this, probably tomorrow. So So let me backtrack. Where I left off, I forgot to mention there was this one really weird scene in Sarah's POV where she goes to sleep and she hears somebody enter her house and she has sex, and she never discloses anything else about this. She doesn't say who this was. If it was like, it was almost a dream, but it wasn't. It was just a very weird scene. I reread it like 3 times to be like, what did I miss? That was it. So Adam keeps being an absolute weirdo. He is like all over this reporter, like this like 20 something year old redheaded reporter. He's just like all over her. She, as far as he knows, she was introduced as a reporter that's interested in this case. And he is immediately like hugging her, like confiding in her. And at one point, he even kisses her. He is just like the worst. So obviously, like Adam's just like cuckoo. And I guess like this is what I loved and hated. Like his POV just made me hate him. And where I was like, hey, like I hope he is found guilty. He's just like the worst piece of shit. And it's like, okay, well, he didn't kill her according to him. And you have no reason to doubt it. Although we'll circle back to this. So like there's all these loose ends, right? Kelly had 3 sets of DNA in her. The sheriff is hot and cold with Sarah. She has all these loose ends. Her assistant was tied. This guy at the firm was kind of tied to it. Like, it's just like nobody has enough of a motivation, but everyone's a suspect. It just works out pretty well that way. Like I said, everyone's a main character in this book, and everybody is ready to bone at a moment's notice. Like, they're all flirting. They're all like, oh, yeah, he is pretty hot for a cop. He is pretty hot for a lawyer. Of course, he's like confident. He's attractive. You know, it's like a point that everybody in this book is super hot, right? The day of the trial comes, and, you know, it leaves off on a like, we don't know what the jury says. And then the next chapter is 11 years later, as Adam is getting the debt, like his execution date, basically. Like he was found guilty, yada yada. And we are in Sarah's POV, and she is very sinister on this day. One thing that I found was kind of weird is she mentions in this epilogue that she filed for a divorce, but Adam wouldn't sign the papers. I'm pretty sure like you can always get a divorce now. I mean, things may get rolled back in this administration, but as far as I understand it, like there's a certain amount of time that somebody has to respond, right? Like, I don't know. At least in California, that's how it is. I don't know about Virginia or wherever she would file, DC. So she attends his execution date and she talks to him, and she's very cold, very calculating, very weird. And Adam is still like in La La Land, like he's Delulu. He's like, I always loved you and this and that, yada yada. Just being a weirdo. But Sarah all of a sudden is not the same person that we know. And as far as we know, Sarah is a orphan. Well, she is an orphan. Like her father died. I forgot of what. I think it was just some like natural causes or something like that, where her mom, as far as we knew, had overdosed on heroin. And we get this flashback and we find out that Sarah actually killed her mom. She was tired of like the life that she was living with her mom, because after her father died, her mother couldn't afford anything. She couldn't get it together. She couldn't get a job. She just got addicted to heroin very fast, which is kind of like random for a housewife. I think I feel like either you're a rock star in your youth and that carries on. You don't become a rock star later in life. You know what I mean? But her mom was just strung out on heroin all the time. Sarah was fighting off predators that her mom would bring home, yada yada. And she finally decided, like, you know what? She likes being high all the time. Let me just send her there a little faster. Like she says, like her mother was killing herself little by little, day by day, and she just helped her move the process along. So we get that. And then apparently we find out how this all came together. Bob apparently tried to blackmail Sarah by letting her know about the affair. He thought it would knock her down a peg and that she would eventually like just leave the firm and then he could swoop in on her spot. But to his surprise, she didn't give a shit. She was just more upset at how she was wronged. So they put together this plan because Bob was the brother of Kelly's first husband that was killed. And he doesn't know, he thinks that she killed him, but like obviously no proof was found. And then Kelly is throughout this whole ordeal like a good flawed character because like we never know if she really did kill her husband or not. She arrived bruised up at Adam's house saying her husband did it, but her husband's very adamant that he never hit her. And enough things happen where we don't know. Like maybe somebody else beat her up and she was blaming her husband, but why would she blame her husband? There was just enough doubt cast on Kelly, and just like a lot of crazy things were happening. So that was the ending. Adam does get executed, and Sarah is perfectly happy about this. But yeah, like I see the plot holes that people were talking about, like because in this, you know, Sarah's admission, she went up to the lake house that night. She had drugged them both and stabbed Kelly in the bed while Adam was passed out next to her. And at no point did he notice that she was just like missing half her body because she was stabbed 37 times. This reminds me of just like I see a lot of Harry Potter stuff. Like I was a huge I still am a Harry Potter fan. So when I see like these memes come up, like the inconsistencies in the book and the plot holes, it's kind of like funny because I just don't pick up on it. The last one that I saw was about the Triwizard tournament, how like it was just like a meme of a scene, like a memeified scene of Harry asking like, "Hey, do I need a permission slip to engage in this like deadly sport the way I needed a permission slip to go to Hogsmeade in my third year?" And it's like, nope, you're good. I can see where there's like a lot of plot holes, but it was fun. Like I enjoyed it as soon as I picked it up. As I was working, I was looking forward to getting back to it. So to me, this was a great book, and I am still a huge Geneva Rose fan. Because this was a spoiler video, I think I'm going to end it here, start a new vlog tomorrow where I pick up The Perfect Divorce. I don't know if I'm going to start reading it right away because when I read thrillers like this, I get consumed by them and I don't do everything that I should be doing. Like, you know, I haven't done laundry. I've done the bare minimum around the house. So sometimes it's like there's only so many hours in a day and I need to take a breather. I need to know myself and just not start a thriller like back to back. But yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to go to Barnes and Noble and pick up The Perfect Divorce and possibly the new Emily Henry book. I've seen nothing but bad reviews about it. I feel like that's just such a shame for Emily Henry. Like she had Book Lovers. It was a huge hit. I don't think anybody does not like Book Lovers, but her other books are more hit or miss. But what I saw of this new book, I forgot what it's called. It seems like something I would enjoy, but I have seen a lot of bad reviews. But you know, different strokes for different folks. Maybe I'll love it, and so yeah, I do want to pick it up, but I'm not sure if I want to do audio. If I dare, because like I've mentioned before, I'm not good with audio and fiction. So I am going to wrap this video up, and I will see you in the next one.